An 11-year-old German boy, Helmut, goes to bed wearing his helmet, but suddenly he hears his parents talking in a serious tone. The boy's father tells his wife that it seems the time has come to end the whole family. He says this only to make her feel it. There's fear in the boy's father's voice, and while expressing this fear, he tells his wife that now they will do to us what we did to the Jews. At that time, Helmut doesn't react to hearing this and goes to sleep. The next day, the boy's father takes the whole family to the jungle and they have a picnic. But after that, Helmut's father shoots himself in his office, after which Helmut sees his uniform burning in the family fireplace. After this incident, Helmut remembers that night's conversation and gets so scared that for the next 9 years, he doesn't even eat at home, just in case his mom poisons the food. The story we just told you isn't just a story, but it reflects the mentality of people after World War II ended. In the story, Helmut was a random German boy whose father was a supporter of Hitler, who was scared after losing World War II. This fear wasn't only in him, but in every supporter of Hitler who fought the war because of him. They lived in fear, and many were killed like Helmut's father. Hitler wasn't only the cause of their death, but also of the deaths of crores of people. He committed the biggest genocides in history. He built camps where children, adults, and the elderly were put into gas chambers and killed. Hitler showed such dictatorship in the world that even today, people compare a strict person to Hitler. But in our opinion, there's probably no one in this world we can compare to Hitler because the crimes he committed were shameful to humanity. The situations during Hitler's time, we can only read about them, but we can neither feel them nor ever want to. But they say every story has two sides, just like Hitler had two sides. People see him in two ways. For some, he was a cruel dictator, while for others, he was a great leader too. Hitler was such a leader who could ignite a fire in people just through his speeches. He was very skilled at influencing and manipulating people, but it wasn't like he was like this from childhood. In fact, in childhood, Hitler wanted to become an artist. He wanted to become a priest. So, what happened that turned Hitler from wanting to be a priest and artist into a cruel dictator? Hitler was born in the home of Adolf Hitler and Clara Perlzel, who named him Adolf Hitler. He was the fourth child in his family. Hitler was kept with great love in his family, especially his mother doted on him because all the children before Hitler had died for some reason or another without living long. He wasn't much interested in studies. School studies and disciplined life seemed useless to him, which is why Hitler and his father never got along. Sometimes, Hitler's father would even beat him in anger, which troubled Hitler so much that at the age of 8, he started taking singing lessons and began singing in the church. Because of going to church, he once wanted to become a priest, but that didn't happen because at this time, a turning point came in Hitler's life. He lost his younger brother Edmund. Edmund died from measles, which is also called a dangerous disease. This had a very bad effect on Hitler. He always remembered his brother. Slowly, he became a boy who preferred to stay to himself. After this incident, he also behaved very badly with his father and teachers. He started performing very poorly in schools too. However, with time, Hitler's interest changed, and now he wanted to become an artist, for which he applied to art school twice, but he was rejected both times. At this time, Hitler was becoming a person whose interest was in German history and German people. He was born in Austria, but his heart leaned towards Germany. From childhood, Hitler sang Germany's national song, read about it, and got influenced by its people. 3 years after his brother's death, his father also died. after which Hitler was expelled from school due to poor performance at the Realschule. Hitler had no future plans now. His household expenses ran on orphan benefits, and on top of that, his mother's health started deteriorating. Hitler was very troubled by all these things when suddenly one day, his mother also died. On December 21, 1907, Hitler lost his mother too, after which he became completely alone and orphaned. He had no home to live in, no food to eat. He wandered door to door looking for work and cried. He didn't even have a penny for food or shelter, which is why Hitler did labor work, made paintings, and sold them. In short, he did whatever he could to survive. In this way, Hitler started spending a normal life. At this time, Hitler encountered Mayor Karl Lueger, known for his anti-Semitism. No, Hitler at this time lived in the Mariahilf district, where German nationalism was seen in every other person, which is why Hitler developed a lot of interest in Germany and politics. He was also very influenced by Mayor Lueger, which is why he read more and more newspapers and stayed updated with every political news. Until this time, there was no hatred for Jews in his mind. Before World War I, Hitler even did dealings with Jews in his painting business. But World War I had a very bad effect on his mind. As soon as Hitler heard about World War I, he shifted to Germany and decided to join the army. Hitler participated in World War I as a soldier, where at first he only did the job of delivering information. But soon he became a popular face in the German forces. He fought in many battles, including the First Battle of Ypres, the Battle of the Somme, the Battle of Arras, and the Battle of Passchendaele. In these battles, in the Battle of the Somme, Hitler was injured, but still he didn't give up, which is why his bravery was saluted and he was honored with the Iron Cross. However, after the war, Hitler remained admitted in the hospital for a long time. Hitler had suffered quite major injuries. By the end of the war, German nationalism was clearly visible in Hitler. The sorrow of Germany losing the war was eating him up. In his mind, Hitler had taken hatred for civilian leaders, Jews, and Marxists. Hitler believed that these people had stabbed them in the back during the war. These people ended the war and signed such treaties that ruined Germany forever. From here, Hitler gave birth to an ideology in his mind. Music from 1914 to 1918. World War I was fought, in which the Allied countries, namely England, France, and Russia, defeated the Central countries, which included Germany. After Germany's defeat, its political system became very bad. There was no government to rule there, which is why all parliamentary parties got a chance to form their government in Germany. For this, talks started about forming a new government. To form the new government, the National Assembly decided to meet at a place called Weimar, where later, while forming the Constitution, government was created, for which proper voting was used, in which women also cast their votes. This government came to be known as the Weimar Republic. However, at that time, most of the German public was against this republic because it had signed the Treaty of Versailles, which ruined Germany. The Treaty of Versailles was one of the harshest and most humiliating treaties. In the Treaty of Versailles, there were such harsh rules and actions that Germany had to go through very bad economics because of it. Due to this peace treaty, Germany lost its overseas colonies, 10% of its population, 13% of its territories, 75% of its iron, and 26% of its coal. The Allied powers imposed such rules on Germany after the war that broke its back. Due to the treaty, Germany became a weak country day by day. All the resources Germany had were snatched by the Allied countries, which left Germany with neither money nor resources to move forward. The entire expense was also imposed, and it was forced to pay about £6.6 billion. Now, you can imagine how much £6.6 billion was at that time. Apart from this, Germany had to put controls on its army too. Many people blame the Weimar Republic and the Treaty of Versailles signed by it for Germany's bad condition, including Hitler. Now, opposition to the Weimar Republic started increasing day by day. Conservatives, liberals, socialists, Catholics, and Democrats started attacking because these people supported the Weimar Republic. At this time, nationalist groups gave the name November Criminals to the Weimar Republic's leaders and supporters. According to nationalists, these were all Germany's criminals who negotiated and signed the treaty. The nationalist mindset saw many changes in Germany's political development. The result of World War I also had a heavy impact on Hitler's mindset, and after it ended, Germany's economic situation was bad, but its effect was also on people's thinking. Politicians and newspaper publishers tried to plant a different image of men. According to them, it was necessary for a man to be aggressive, strong, and masculine, while women should only focus on household chores. Apart from this, trench life was also glorified. Actually, during the war, soldiers lived in large pits where the reality was completely different from the life shown in the media. In reality, soldiers had to face a lot of troubles in these trenches. In these trenches, they had to live with harmful gases, rats, enemy shelling, and dirt. Apart from this, a wave of national honor was also seen, which pushed the public towards dictatorship. Apart from mindset, political changes were also seen. Groups against the Weimar Republic started forming, in which Spartacus was such a revolutionary group that was quite influenced by Russia's Bolshevik Revolution. People wanted Soviet-style governance in their country too, for which protests started happening day by day. Now, the Weimar Republic held a meeting to calm all these protests, after which they took the help of the Freikorps. The Freikorps was a group of war veterans and jobless people who worked for the government, but even they didn't make much difference to the protests. And some time later, this group formed the Communist Party of Germany, which continuously opposed the Weimar Republic. Germany's conditions seemed to be getting very dilapidated. People didn't even have money for food, but they also had to compensate for their war. Germany's gold reserves were emptied, which is why they refused to pay money, after which France occupied Germany's leading industrial area, the Ruhr. The Ruhr has the world's most coal. After this, Germany started printing money to fix its bad situation. Due to printing money, the country was flooded with notes, but their value fell. Now, buying even a loaf of bread of notes became difficult. Inflation increased so much that a new term was born there called hyperinflation, which means inflation crossing all limits. At this time, America extended a hand of help towards Germany, but then due to the terrible Great Depression in America, America also backed off. After the Great Depression, America stopped supporting Germany, which gave Germany two shocks at once. One financial and the other from the economic crisis worldwide, worsening Germany's condition further. By 1932, industrial production decreased by 40%, due to which about 6 million people were unemployed in Germany at that time. People started shouting slogans on the streets. Germany's condition became so bad that people's faith in the government also started wavering. People started shouting slogans against the government. Seeing the government's dilapidated condition, Hitler took advantage of this opportunity. Hitler came to power at this time. From here, Hitler and Nazism made their distinct identity in Germany, and this is where Hitler's journey from no one to becoming Germany's Adolf Hitler dictator began. After leaving the army, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party in 1919. This group wasn't that big at that time, which is why Hitler quickly joined the group and increased his popularity. Hitler gathered all the group members and gained their support, and changed the group's name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party. People were judged by their race and appearance. People were treated according to upper class and lower class. Hitler set out with the dream of ruling Germany. He slowly grew his party, after which, in 1923, he made a plan to seize a place called Bavaria, but he failed badly in it. After which he was arrested, where while sitting in jail, Hitler wrote a book in which he clearly stated his future plans and ideology. The name of this book was Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. However, this book couldn't become famous among people. Hitler came out of jail after a few years and started working on his party again. Hitler worked amazingly hard to grow his party until 1930. And in 1930, Hitler took advantage of the Great Depression and gained people's support. Due to the economic lockdown, where people had completely lost hope, Hitler promised people a better future and ran his Nazi propaganda. Through his influential speeches, Hitler convinced people that if they voted for him, he would get them out of the bad situation every year. During this, Hitler held big rallies, gave speeches. People got influenced by his words, which is why in a very short time he spread his magic all over Germany, the effect of which was seen in the voting. In 1928, Hitler contested elections for the first time, where he got only 2.6% votes, but this time, i.e., in 1932, Hitler got more votes than any other party. Many reports claim that Hitler got about 38 million votes in the 1932 elections. After that, Hitler started showing his true colors. Actually, Hitler clearly knew that the German constitution has provisions for emergency and suspension of civil rights. He was just waiting for the right time to implement them, for which he was sitting idle. Seeing Hitler's popularity, on January 30, 1933, President Hindenburg made Hitler the Chancellor of Germany. On February 28, 1933, a mysterious fire broke out in the German parliament. Hitler took advantage of the situation and imposed emergency all over Germany, in which all rights were snatched from civilians. After the emergency, Hitler brought the Enabling Act, after which Germany became a dictator country. This act handed over all the power of Germany to Hitler, after which all political parties and unions in the country were banned. Hitler took complete control of the country's economy, media, and army, after which Hitler's rule became the governance in Germany. Hitler also arranged special surveillance and security forces that did the job of catching people conspiring against him. Now Hitler had the power of Germany, but he didn't have money to operate it, for which Hitler started giving Germany a new shape. Hitler first hired an economist named Hjalmar Schacht to improve Germany's condition. It happened just like that. Schacht's plans improved Germany's condition, for which he first moved forward with full production and full employment. Apart from this, improvements were also seen in foreign policy under Hitler's rule. Hitler first withdrew himself from the League of Nations in 1933. Then in 1938, he took back the Rhineland under his control, united Austria and Germany again. After that, Hitler turned towards Western Germany and captured Czechoslovakia. In all these acts of Hitler, England supported him without hesitation, because England thought that Versailles had done very bad to Germany. Overall, in a few years, Hitler brightened Germany's fortune, but he didn't stop there. He had the desire to achieve even more. However, Schacht had explained to Hitler that the state's financial condition is not completely fine yet, So whatever he does, he should think carefully. But Hitler wasn't one to listen to anyone. After this incident, Hitler first removes Schacht, and then, to fix his economics, he decides on war because, according to him, if Germany acquires more and more territory, more and more resources will come under them, which can improve their financial condition. In September 1939, Hitler attacks Poland, after which France and England also join the war. That's because, just as in World War I, Britain promised to support Belgium, similarly, Britain had signed a treaty with Poland, according to which Britain has to support Poland. On the other hand, Germany had signed a tripartite pact with Italy and Japan to increase their power at the international level. If you look at it, until 1940, Germany's condition in World War II was good. But in the intoxication of his power, Hitler makes a mistake here, due to which Germany loses the war. Actually, as Hitler sees that he is winning the war, he also wants to make true the dream he has been seeing for years, according to which Hitler wants to capture Eastern Europe. To fulfill this dream, Hitler declares war on the Soviet Union in 1940, after which Hitler fails to handle Britain in the West and the Soviet Union in the East at the same time, and the German army retreats to Berlin, due to which the Soviet Union's unbeatable era is also seen in the world. America stays out of the war until now, but due to Japan's attack on America's Pearl Harbor in the Pacific Ocean, America also becomes part of the war. This war goes on for a long time. Hitler sees that now his control over the war is slipping, but he decides to stay in Berlin until the war ends. And in this very place, Hitler mysteriously shoots himself and his wife. Before shooting himself, Hitler asks his physician, Werner Haas, what is the best way to commit suicide, so he tells Hitler about pistol and poison, after which Hitler shoots himself with a gun, and the world's most dangerous dictator comes to an end. During his entire time period, Nazism is found guilty of modeling. According to Nazism, there exists no lower-class mentality. People should be treated in a corporate way. Only those people come in the top of society who fall in the category of blonde, blue-eyed, and Nordic German Aryans. The rest, Jews, according to Nazism, were considered the lowest class of society. They were considered enemies of the Nazi people. Overall, people were treated according to their physical appearance. Nazis gave preference in society only to pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. Under Hitler's rule, especially more atrocities were committed on Jews. Nazis considered Jews their enemies. This enmity was years old. Music discrimination was done, but the biggest reason for hatred towards Jews was Germany's defeat in World War I. Hitler believed that these people had helped the enemies, due to which they had to face defeat. Hitler always treated Jews like internal enemies. They were provided a separate area to live in, known as ghettos. Hitler defined them according to race, which is why he believed that converting them would be of no use, but final. Elimination is their solution, and this final elimination meant death. Hitler believed that it is necessary for the country's youth to be active in politics. He believed that a strong Nazi society can be built only by teaching Nazism to the country's youngsters. Hitler taught children in schools to hate Jews. He first removed all Jewish teachers from schools. After that, all non-Jewish children were not allowed to sit with Jews. Children were taught discrimination. Hitler threw physically handicapped children out of schools and later put them in gas chambers. Only good Germans had the right to school, and Nazism was introduced in children's textbooks, and they were taught that they should become loyal and submissive, as well as hate Jews and worship Hitler. In Hitler's time, children were explained that women are different from men, and something like equality does not exist. If women become like men, society will be ruined. Boys were told that they have to become aggressive and masculine, and women were expected to become good mothers and give birth to pure-blood Aryans. Along with this, women had to maintain their purity too. They were told to keep distance from Jews, and if any woman gave birth to an undesirable child, she was punished, and for giving birth to a desirable child, they were awarded. In this way, Nazism was being spread in Germany with such education. However, after Hitler's death, not only Germany but the whole world understood that war can only bring hatred and spread destruction. After this war ended, organizations like the United Nations were formed. We hope you liked our video, so definitely like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe.